Hey friends, it is springtime, everything's blooming, the pollen is crazy, and the flowers are gorgeous. This is an arrangement that I made with flowers that are blooming in my yard. Some of them are plants that I planted myself, and some are native weeds that grow on their own. Flowers are not only beautiful, but they are functional. So what exactly is the purpose of a flower? We're going to get a little more into that in this video.
How does a tree grow? Why does the wind blow? When does a flower bloom? How can a rocket shoot to the stars or land up on the moon? It's science and technology, engineering, mathematics. Get smart, keep it simple. Let's learn about STEM.
Flower petals are bright and colorful and they grab your eye. Just like you and I see a beautiful flower and we want to go smell it or look closer at it or pick it and take it home with us to hold on to that beauty a little longer, it grabs the attention of pollinators like bees and butterflies and even small birds like hummingbirds. Pollinators are critical to the reproduction of plants. They help aid the plants in pollination. So what is pollination? Pollination is the process in which a flower creates a seed. Flowers are responsible for the creation of seeds, and seeds are the means by which more plants grow, more flowering plants grow. Not every plant has flowers, but about 90% of them do, and that's how they reproduce. There are two main parts of flowers that aid in the process of pollination: a stamen and a pistil. A stamen is made of an anther and a filament. The pistil is made of the ovary, the style, and the stigma. The anther is where the pollen is created, and that pollen needs to end up on the stigma to create a seed. So how does the pollen from an anther end up on a stigma? That's where pollinators come in. Wind can also blow pollen off of the anther and it can land on the stigma. That would be self-pollination. So one flower can have both an anther and a stigma, and it can pollinate itself if something bumps into it or wind knocks it across or a pollinator lands on it. That pollen can get from that anther to that stigma on the same flower. Not all flowers have both anthers and stigmas. Some flowering plants have one flower that will have an anther and one flower will have a stigma. This is a little harder because you've got to get pollen from this flower to this flower. So a bee can land on this flower. It's wanting to get the nectar, which is that sweet, sugary substance that some flowers secrete. And they'll be having a snack on that nectar and they're gathering pollen as they're in that flower, and they'll fly to another flower to have another treat, and some of that pollen that they've collected will fall off into that flower, and that's cross-pollination. This flower over here is pollinating another flower over here. Some flowers spread their seeds by turning into little fluffy pieces after their petals have died. Just like this one here. I don't know if you can see this, but this is actually how this plant will spread its seeds after one of the flowers is pollinated. And then plants will grow wherever these seeds land and successfully root. And now I have to go vacuum. Cross-pollination can occur on the same plant. It would still be different flowers, but it could be on the same plant. Or it can be a plant over here of the same kind and a plant over here of the same kind. So you can actually have cross-pollination between different plants entirely or different flowers on the same plant. In addition to the stamen and the pistil that help flowers reproduce or help plants reproduce, you've got lots of other fancy sounding parts. The protective parts that keep a flower safe before it blooms are called the sepals. And then as the flower gets ready to bloom, this is what opens up, and then it will be underneath the flower. You can see that on this rose. You see these sepals here. up here. So once that flower opens up and blooms, the sepals fold down and can be seen underneath the petals. The flower is connected to the rest of the plant by a pedicel. So some plants have the sepals and then the pedicel into the stem or the peduncle of the plant. Other plants like this one actually will have flower, pedicel, and it connects to another pedicel, to another pedicel, to another pedicel, and you've got this, what is called an inflorescence, which is more than one flower all coming together like this. This can be an indicator of what kind of plant you're looking at, in addition to, you know, how the petals look, what color the plant is. The way that the inflorescence is arranged is also an indicator of what kind of plant this is. So in this case, you've got a lot of pedicels to connect this inflorescence, and then that attaches to the peduncle. All of these flowers are from my backyard. These are some weeds. There's some native plants that come up on their own. The bees particularly love these yellow flowers. And then these roses, this is a knockout rose. I'm not sure what the name of this one is, but these are roses that I planted. I love the color of this one. Of course, just like you and I will see a flower and we think, oh my goodness, that's so beautiful. I want to take it home with me. I want to make a beautiful arrangement. We love the way flowers look, and sometimes even the way flowers smell. That's the same concept as what attracts pollinators to the flowers. So they look beautiful and they smell beautiful. Some flowers create a sweet nectar that animals love. So that's all strategic. It's not necessarily just for us to look at and appreciate how beautiful the creation of this flower is, but it also serves a very functional purpose. So it's not just pretty to look at, it's incredibly functional in reproduction of plants. I hope you learned something today. I hope you can remember all the fun words we learned. Make sure the next time you're outside, you go for a little flower hunt and see if you can identify the parts that we've talked about on flowers in your backyard. If you enjoyed this video and learned a fun new word, give me a thumbs up or comment below what your favorite flower is. Bye!
Thank you so much for watching. Here are some more videos you might like, and be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with when we release new videos. Bye!